People have created whole worlds in games. Some feel very real. Lighting changes as you move, water reflects the sky perfectly, and everything seems to pulse with life. Even if they are simple, cartoonish, or totally unrealistic, these scenes can still tell a story just by how they look. What is it that makes these moments so fascinating, and how do developers make games feel so immersive? The visuals in games are really important, but even the best looking graphics can miss the mark if something doesn't feel right. And let's face it, just having realistic scenes doesn't always draw players in. While game graphics define the visual style, shaders are what makes those graphics truly stand out. Think of them as finishing touches, the heartbeat of everything your eyes can perceive. Every visual element you see on the screen during gameplay, this is all thanks to shaders. Shader development is a key skill that opens up a wide range of creative options, allowing you to bring more depth and originality to your projects. Whether you're using Unreal Engine 5 or any other engine, understanding shaders will help you create beautiful worlds. Shaders are important for how light interacts with surfaces, shaping the way materials respond under different conditions and bringing various visual effects to life in real time. There are pieces of code that direct the GPU on how to render everything you see on the screen. Without shaders, the visuals would be flat and boring, like a picture without colors. Their story begins in the early days of making games, starting with simple graphical effects and step by step building up to the tools we have now. In the late 1980s, shaders were first introduced, though they were quite simple back then. Most games use fixed function graphics pipelines, where graphics were most of the time handled by hardware that didn't allow for much flexibility. This meant that developers couldn't directly control the way light or textures worked on screen. Everything was pre-programmed by the hardware. As game graphics advanced, developers began to ask for more control over how things looked. That's when programmable shaders came in. In the late 90s and early 2000s, this move allowed developers to write custom code for how lighting, texturing, and other visual effects worked. Programmers could now modify and fine-control things like reflections, shadows, and special effects such as explosions and water, all in real time. This opened up completely newly creative possibilities for game graphics. In the 2010, shaders really took off. They became a key part of modern gaming. GPUs became much more performant and game engines like Unreal Engine evolved quickly. Developers can now render highly realistic environments in real time. Shaders really made a big difference in how realistic graphics look today. They help bring about everything from changing lights and reflections to detailed materials and textures. In more recent years, we have seen advanced techniques like ray tracing, physically based rendering, and global illumination becoming mainstream, pushing visual fidelity to new heights. These allow games to look even more realistic. You can get a taste of how shaders impact visuals. In RetroArch, for example, you can use different shaders to change the look and feel of a game. The default emulation versus a CRT simulation, they are very different experiences. Who works on shaders in the game industry? Many different roles deal with shaders, and each has their own responsibility. Graphic programmers. These are specialists who write the shader code. They create custom shaders for lighting, materials, special effects, and more. Graphic programmers work closely with the hardware to improve shaders for performance and realism. To excel in this role, you need a solid grasp of math, especially linear algebra, and experience with graphic APIs like DirectX or OpenGL. Technical artists. Think of them as the bridge between artistic and technical sides of development. Technical artists work together with graphic programmers to take those raw shader codes and fine control them to fit the visual style. They help design shaders, adjust parameters, and make sure that shaders work smoothly with different materials and lighting setups. Because they are experts in improving shaders for performance and visual appeal, they need a strong understanding of both art and shader programming. Lighting artists. While lighting artists don't write shader code themselves, they work closely with shaders to control how lighting interacts with objects and materials in the game world. They focus on adjusting the light so it creates the right mood, whether that's gentle, warm lighting, or sharp, bold shadows. VFX artists. Effects like explosions, fire, smoke, and magic are heavily based on shaders. VFX artists create these visuals using shaders, often using procedural generation or particle systems to bring them to life. They may not always write the shader code, but they are experts in using them to create jaw-dropping visuals. While there are more roles involved with shaders, among these roles, it gets clear that working with shaders isn't just responsibility for one only. Everyone in the team touches this area, whether it's developers, artists, designers. So what skills do you need to master this field? A solid grasp of computer graphics is a must. This typically means being familiar with lighting models, rendering pipelines, and texturing. Also, know at least one shader language, such as HLSL or GLSL, so you can create custom shaders customized to your project. But no worries, while learning shaders might seem difficult at first, it's one of the most rewarding areas of game development. As you develop your skills, you get the ability to make your games look extraordinary, adding something that players will love. And the best part, you can be both creative and technical when you work with shaders. You can push limits, experiment, and even create completely new looks. Also, for shader development, you don't need to code nowadays. Many tools, also Unreal Engine 5, makes this task easier than it was in the past, with visual scripting using nodes. The basic setups are quick and easy done, and much more complex and scalable workflows are ready to be learned and applied. With mastering shaders, you get a range of creative possibilities, and this can really improve your career options. Whether you're working on 2D or 3D games, shaders are the backbone of modern game graphics. Wherever there is a game, there is a shader, and someone needed to make it sure the best visuals are achieved. The future of game development is more exciting than ever, and shaders are the main drive in that evolution.